Welcome back to St. Dominic's Weekly. This is Father Michael. We are continuing our series on Meet the Novices 2025, and I am delighted to be here with Pius Carlo, one of our novices who will be making vows soon. Welcome, Brother Pius.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Very, very happy. Very excited.
Excellent. Good. That makes two of us. And maybe as I've been kind of starting with all of our novices, just given a little bit of your background, kind of where you're from, siblings, kind of family situation, to kind of get us going.
Sure. So, born and raised in the Philippines.
Okay.
I have two half siblings from my dad's side.
Okay.
And I have two half siblings from my mom's side.
Okay.
My half siblings from my mom's side is half Filipino and half Japanese. And I'm the youngest amongst all of them.
Okay. The baby.
I am the baby. I am indeed the baby.
You're not alone in this class, too, I've discovered.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of youngest in this class.
Yes. So a bunch of babies together in this class. But we're all growing together, which is nice.
Just as long as you aren't crying together.
That's true.
You don't need any crying babies.
Maybe in the student aid.
Nice. So you're mentioning your half siblings from your dad's side.
Yeah, so my dad is half Chinese, so that makes me quarter Chinese and three-fourth Filipino. And so my half siblings from my dad's side are also quarter Chinese and three-fourth Filipino.
Yeah. And how was it living or growing up in the Philippines?
Yeah. So growing up in the Philippines, I mean, culturally Catholic.
Yeah.
So went to a Filipino-Chinese Catholic school for elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And then for high school, I actually moved to an international school.
Yeah.
And that is not Catholic. It was Episcopal, but still very, very much Christian, and I still grew in my faith. But even though I went to that kind of school, I still was practicing Catholic. So every Sunday we would go to Mass together. So yeah, and then after high school, I moved to the U.S. in 2017 for college.
Okay. And was that the plan all along?
Yes, and that's actually why I moved to an international school in the Philippines, because my mom instilled this dream in me ever since I was young, to go abroad, to study, because she saw that I was pretty studious and I loved to study, and so she really wanted the best education for me as a young child, and so she really planted that seed in me ever since I was young. And I love technology. I love computer science. So I thought, the U.S. would probably be a good place to pursue that dream.
Nice. I just remember when you came to interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I actually looked. I don't know if you know that I looked up the school in the Philippines, this international school, because I was like, I mean, what do I know about education in the Philippines?
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, oh, this is not just any. This is like the top of the this is like the Harvard, whatever you want to say is the top of education. This is the number one school.
Maybe number one, maybe not number one, maybe number two.
But it's top tier.
It's top there. Yes.
I was just like, oh wow, this guy went to top tier education to come to the U.S. Was it? I got the sense it was like really kind of a competitive, kind of academically rigorous kind of formation that you had.
The international schools in the Philippines need to have a special permission from the government, so they actually don't They don't use the Philippine curriculum. So for us, we used IB curriculum, which is the one based in Europe.
Okay.
So in America, we have AP.
Okay.
But for us, we did IB, which is the equivalent for Europe. So it was quite rigorous.
Yeah.
But that's precisely why I wanted to be there, and my mom sent me there so that I could be best prepared to come to the U.S. For college.
Nice. So I get the sense that you were absolutely academically kind of prepared.
Yes.
But how was that just like leaving, kind of leaving home? And I mean, how to put it? I don't say fulfilling someone else's dream, but just kind of like your mom had this dream, she instilled it in you. How hard was it to kind of leave, the Philippines and come to the United States?
Oh, it was hard.
I'll bet.
I think. So 2017, as a freshman in college, I had lots of doubts, actually, in terms of that decision. So I studied computer science at the University of Pennsylvania, which is also a really, really good school. But while I was there, I think towards the end of the freshman year, I actually had thoughts of dropping out because in my head, I couldn't justify why I had to be halfway around the world to study computer science.
Yeah.
When I realized that programming or computer science, you could actually study that by yourself. Like you could do like
you could
boot
be in
camps,
the Philippines,
I could be in the Philippines to study that. And I would feel so homesick that doubts started to creep in. Like, why did I make this decision? But it was only later on that I realized that I'm not necessarily in college at the University of Pennsylvania to study computer science exclusively, but also to have other kinds of experiences. So like community-wise, that's when I first started joining an intentional Catholic community. That's where I literally grew in my faith. I took ownership of it. That's when I got exposed to so many different other cultures. That's when I got exposed to people that are way smarter than me, and so I think I was really stretched. So, and I wouldn't have that kind of growth and that experience if I stayed in the Philippines.
So a blessing.
It is a blessing, and it took me a while to realize that, but along the way, it was my mom who kept encouraging me, pushing me along, and really telling me to, if I'm not going to do it for myself, do it for her, but eventually,
hard to say no to mom.
Exactly. But through it all, I think the Lord has been guiding me and pushing me, because, like I said, it was in college that I really had a deep personal encounter with Jesus. And so I'm really, really glad that I was there and that the Lord brought me there.
Can you share more about that? It sounds like you had a profound experience. This is at college at Penn.
Yes, exactly. So one thing about Penn is, so it actually has the first Newman Center in the U.S.
Does it really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
So the first Newman Center was founded in the University of Pennsylvania.
Is it diocesan run or?
No. So during my time, it was run by a group of brothers called Sodalit Brothers.
Okay.
So their community's abbreviation is SCV. So the Lyceum Christiani Vitae. They're really, really awesome in their ministry with young adults, with students in particular. And so while I was there as a freshman, I had a moment of crisis of faith wherein I started to think about or doubt about what I actually believed in. And the reason for this is I was in class one day taking Introduction to New Testament in Penn, and one of my classmates invited me to study with him, and then I didn't realize that studying with him entailed him asking me very pointed questions about my Catholic faith.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
And then he started to tell me that, like my beliefs are actually wrong, and that
really,
like he started to plant doubt in my heart because he's not Catholic.
Was he Christian?
He is Christian,
okay, so
but
he's Christian,
some
but
other denomination.
Oh, okay. So he was trying to.
So he's trying to,
put a wedge.
Maybe yes, exactly. Maybe convert me.
Yeah.
And I realized that I didn't really know too much about my faith.
Yeah.
So I had really moments of doubt during that time. And so I went to our chaplain, and then he encouraged me to get to know my faith more, right? And then he actually gave me 3 concrete recommendations. First is prayer, second is community, and third is study.
I've heard of these things.
I know. Just one thing is missing.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But yes,
that's
prayer,
tremendous.
Community, and study. So this is the recommendation of my chaplain. And so I did these 3 things. And in particular, for prayer, my spiritual director invited me to pray with John 15. So John 15 is the passage about the vine and the branches, which is when Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love.
Yeah.
So I took that passage, went to adoration. And while I was in adoration, I really just felt this movement in my heart when I felt for the first time Jesus speaking to me directly. Like, as the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. And I sat there for like maybe an hour just hearing these words in my mind and letting these words sink deep into my heart. And after an hour, I'm like, I need more. An hour is not enough. So
wow, yeah.
so I got to do this again. So the next day, I went to adoration.
Yeah.
Picked up the same Bible passage, John 15, heard these same words, and let these same words sink into my heart again. And at the end of that hour, again, I'm still not satisfied. And so it turned out that for almost every single day for an entire year, I would just read and pray on this passage, just John 15.
Wow.
Just really try to exhaust all the graces that the Lord wishes to give me through this singular passage. And so,
is there something that you could further articulate about that? That was, I mean, if you meditating, I don't know if I've ever heard of someone who has been
meditated on
no. Just take. I mean, it's kind of like the ultimate Lectio Divina. Lectio Divina is divine reading, or taking a scripture passage and reading it, rereading it, meditating upon it, making it the source of kind of contemplative, kind of clearing your mind and making the space for our Lord, and just allowing it to, I don't know, wash over whatever you want, wash over you or sink into you.
Right.
But for a whole year.
For a whole year, yes.
Yeah. Is there something more you might say about that after this kind of epic 365-day long Lectio Divina?
So lots of these experiences, I think, are hard to put into words.
Sure, of course.
But one thing I can say is I entered, or before I started this Lectio Divina of this passage, I really felt an emptiness in my heart. I could say that there were holes in my heart that just felt empty. I was not happy. Like I mentioned, I also had doubts, right, about why am I in pen, so all of these things coming together, and just a lack of fulfillment, a lack of happiness, a lack of direction also, and maybe even a lack of identity of like, who am I? Right? Like, what am I called to do?
Yeah, why did God make you?
Right, exactly.
What's the point?
All these deep, fundamental questions.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that year, I could say I was definitely happy.
Okay.
Definitely have a clearer direction of where the Lord is asking me to go.
Yeah.
Why the Lord put me in University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And that would pertain to mission, which I can talk about later.
Yeah, sure.
But all these things suddenly started to click in me.
Yeah.
In my heart.
Yeah.
Wherein I know deep in my heart who I am as a beloved child of God, why I'm in Penn, because He has a mission for me, where He's trying to lead me, and just this sense of fulfillment and happiness.
Nice.
So I would really say it's an encounter with Jesus for the first time, wherein I can see Him looking at me and telling me directly, straight into my eyes, as the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love.
And that gave you mentioned that sense of mission. So you're at Penn, and I guess you graduate.
So yes, I did.
Okay.
But the mission that I'm speaking about is while I was in Penn, I had this deep desire to share this joy and this love that I have experienced from encountering Jesus to other people. And so I started serving in our Neiman Center. But the primary way I did that was I started this Filipino young adult community in University of Pennsylvania. And it's not exclusive just to Penn, so it actually served 4 different nearby universities.
Oh, wow.
In the Philadelphia region. And there are a couple of other classmates of mine from the Philippines that also attended Penn. And so even though we're all culturally Catholic, I don't think any of them has had that kind of personal encounter with Jesus. So I'm really trying to facilitate this community so that they could encounter Jesus in the same way that I encountered him, and hopefully have the same sense of joy and sense of fulfillment and love that I have experienced. Because like what I experienced, they also felt very homesick. They also felt very much lost, like,
what am I doing here in the United States? Yeah.
So
how big was the group?
So at its peak, we had around 80 to 100 people.
Wow. Okay, that's fantastic. And did you have like a chaplain, or did you were the friars there, or the community there?
So we have this amazing Filipino priest in the Philadelphia region, which we invited to come.
Oh, okay.
So he would come once a month, every first Saturday of the month.
Nice.
To celebrate Filipino mass for us.
Okay.
And afterwards, we would have just fellowship with dinner, Filipino dinner.
Yeah.
With karaoke or line dancing afterwards, to build community.
Well, see, I know what Filipino receptions and food and karaoke. I know that. But what's Filipino mass?
So for this, so most of the songs that we use for mass come from the Philippines.
Gotcha.
We assembled our own Filipino choir.
Yeah.
And honestly, some students just would feel more at home just by listening and hearing these songs that they're familiar with. And that really helped them,
Was it in the native language, Tagalog?
Yeah.
Okay, so the mass is in Tagalog. Okay, and then
so mass itself is partly Tagalog, partly English, but the songs are all like mostly from the Philippines.
Yeah.
So
it makes sense to me because when you learn how to pray normally in your native language, even if like yourself, there's a bilingual or whatever language you are, there's a way in which whatever language you learn first is kind of a heart language.
Yes.
Does that ring true for yourself?
Yes, for sure. Like there are certain words or even expressions or emotions that you can only capture in your language, right?
Yeah, sure.
And hearing them in the context of mass, I think is very powerful. So it made me feel much, much more at home. So being part of that. Yeah.
Wow. So you were a branch connected to the vine, but helping to sprout other branches.
Yes,
to bear fruit. To bear fruit.
Exactly. Bear fruit that will remain.
Yeah.
Right.
Fruit that will remain.
That will last for eternity.
For eternity. Huh?
Yes.
Do you happen to know if that Filipino group is still around?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
it is
nice.
still continuing.
Continuous. Nice.
So we started in 2018. So we just had our 5th year anniversary.
And I love how you say we.
Yes, I'm still a part of it.
You are, no, for sure. No, that's great.
And actually, one of the fruits of that is one of my best friends, Filipino best friends, who also helped me in organizing these, became a focus missionary.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he's actually the team director at MIT. So
nice.
And another tangentially, connected to this is our chaplain became the auxiliary bishop in Philadelphia.
Oh, really? So, that's great. Oh, wow.
So Bishop Ephraim. Yes.
And is he still continuing with that group?
He is still continuing, yes. He still comes once a month, yes. And so before I graduated, I essentially set up this committee to continue the work.
Sure.
And so they're still doing it.
Wow, that is fantastic. Very good.
So
the vine and the branches.
It is.
I love it. So, that's tremendous. And I can see that not only it sounds like yourself and you've got a friend who's continuing to kind of do ministry. I can imagine that the Lord was going to use that for other vocation. It's going to continue to bear fruit vocationally. If that makes sense.
Yes. And I mean, I would consider myself also a byproduct of that ministry, right? Like with me pursuing religious life. Yeah. I would say my zeal for the salvation of souls really started there. Yeah. And I think I would also be very much thankful for all the brothers who are there, the SCV brothers who instilled this sense of zeal in me and who helped foster my relationship with Christ.
Proto-Dominican there.
Yes.
So maybe move there. So how did you get from Penn out to the to priesthood, religious life, Dominican vocation?
Yes. Okay, so there's a lot in there.
Yeah, there is. So we could go with I throw a lot out there, so you can take it where you want.
So maybe we can start with the Dominican vocation, and with that we can go back to my childhood, going back to my time in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So ever since I was young, my family has been connected with the Dominicans, particularly with my mom. So my mom, so she's a businesswoman in the Philippines. And there was one time wherein she was having a hard time in her business. And so one of her friends recommended to her to go to this shrine, which is like 5 to 6 hours north of Manila, where we used to live.
Oh, wow.
It's called Our Lady of Manawag.
Okay.
It's a shrine dedicated to Our Lady. And this shrine turned out to be run by the Dominicans.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so my mom would go to the shrine regularly, even though it's so far away.
So it's like a whole day journey.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
So
they go down to LA or something from here.
I think she would go at least once a week. So for Sunday Mass, she would totally go there.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
And I think I was a baby when this all started.
Yeah.
So she would go there, and then after one year of going there regularly and asking for help from our lady, her petition was granted. Yes, and because of that, in Thanksgiving, she gave a gift to this shrine of Our Lady of Manawag.
Yeah.
And because of that, she got connected with the Dominicans.
Okay, to the priests who are grateful, no doubt, for Our Lady and for the gifts.
Exactly. And one particular priest, his name is Father Sonny Ramirez, just became very close friends with my family, and he would come in all of our major celebrations in the family. So in my mom's birthday, in my birthday, he would come celebrate Mass for us. And so I would grow up seeing this very holy, charismatic priest just be a part of our life, really.
It's kind of also like a family priest.
Yes, a family priest, indeed. And my mom was recounting a story to me that when I was super young, I can't even remember this story, but apparently this priest told me one day that, hey, you're going to become a priest, okay? And apparently I said yes.
Did you really? Okay.
But I can't remember this, but my mom told me this.
Okay, all right.
So perhaps I was inspired by him.
Very good. No.
Yes. And then for this memory, I do have some memory of this. My mom would tell me that I would also go up our dining table and get a glass of water and a spoon and sprinkle water people in their house.
Makeshift aspergillium.
Exactly. So in that sense, I've had some hints of my vocation ever since I was young.
Nice.
But when I was growing up, as a student, I never really actively said I'm going to pursue priesthood. So yeah, because both of my parents were business people. So when teachers would ask me, hey, what do you want to become when you want to grow up? I would say, oh, I want to become a businessman, right? Because that's the world that I know. So the vocation was probably there ever since I was young, but it didn't really flourish until much later. So going back to college, wherein, I've had a personal encounter with Jesus. I think that was the first time that I felt this zeal for souls, really. Like I want people to encounter Jesus in the same way that I did. And so my love for Christ really flourished in college, and that was the moment when I put him at the center of my life. And then afterwards, I let's see. So maybe I can talk about what I did right after college. So after college, I worked in tech. I worked for Google for 3 years, and an interesting connection is, I was not planning at all to work for Google. But someone reached out from Google to
really?
me, inviting me to apply. And the reason for that is they had my resume on file when I was looking for internships, but I never interned there. But someone reached out, a recruiter reached out, saying that, hey, like I saw your resume, and we think that you'll be a good fit for this role.
Oh, really?
And this role is a customer-facing engineering role. So they require engineers that have community building skills.
Okay.
And they saw that I was doing this ministry, a Filipino ministry in college. And so they thought that would be a good asset, to bring. And so they invited me to apply, and that worked out. Now, while I'm at work, I realized that in this, great company with many different perks, you would think that everyone would be happy.
Yeah.
Everyone would have everything that they need.
You're living the dream, right? You're living mom's dream. Like, just like you get Google, you got you didn't call them, they called you.
That's right.
And they said, we want you, and you said yes. And so it's kind of like you've hit the mountaintop, or at least you've hit a peak.
Yes, well, this is all providence, right?
Yeah.
Like the Lord really brought me to where He wants me to be.
Yeah.
And while I was there, I saw this sense of unfulfillment, actually, amongst people who you would think would be happy.
Yeah.
And people who, would come to work, would make impact, quote unquote, on the world.
Yeah.
And yet they're not really fully satisfied. And yet there's still hunger in their hearts. They're not really happy. And so that reminded me of my zeal for souls, like what can I do about this, right?
Yeah.
And my own fulfillment with encountering Christ, I want them to have a share of that, right? Because I think the love that we have for Christ cannot just be between the two of us. Like, it has to be shared with others, because there's so much joy in that love. So, I felt this desire in my heart to share Jesus, not only to my friends, but to my coworkers, to people who are, maybe not directly in my path. But still, that's not necessarily going to lead immediately to a vocation, right?
Sure, of course, yeah.
So I think the next step in that vocation journey happened when I attended my first ever ordination.
Okay.
So this was in 2023, I believe, when I attended my first ever ordination. And when I was there, I was so moved by it that I told the Lord that, Lord, like, if you want me to become a priest, just let me know, and I'll gladly leave my job and just do it.
What was the ordination?
Sorry,
who was ordained? Like, what was the context of the ordination?
It was a friend of mine that I met in Philadelphia. It was a diocesan ordination to the priesthood.
Okay.
And so I attended it. He's Filipino as well.
Okay.
And I just saw all the love that he had for Christ and how he's sharing that with other people. I also saw the witness of the transformation that happened in his life. So he was recounting how he was the most unlikely person to become a priest, because in college, like, he was doing some sort of some wild stuff. I wouldn't want to elaborate here.
On the Friday night.
Exactly.
I gotcha.
So he was doing some wild stuff.
Understood.
And so the fact that he became a priest was a huge witness to many of his friends and to his family.
Sure.
So that really moved me, like the potential to become a huge witness and to bring souls closer to Christ because of that witness. That really moved me. And so because of that ordination, I asked the Lord for a sign. Like, Lord, let me know. If you want me to become a priest, let me know. Give me a sign.
Give me a sign, okay.
I would gladly leave my job and pursue you.
Okay.
And so that same weekend, when I was on my way back to San Francisco, so this ordination happened in Virginia. So I was on my way back to San Francisco. I was boarding the plane, and lo and behold, I met a man wearing a habit, a white habit. And so I approached this man and I'm like, hey, are you a priest? And then he said, yes, I'm a Dominican. I'm a Catholic priest. I'm a Dominican.
Nice.
And this man turned out to be Father John Marie, who at that time was the vocations director for the Western Province of the Dominicans. So I'm like, okay, I can't get a clearer response from the Lord. I think this is as clear as it could get.
Yeah.
And so during that entire 5-hour plane ride back to San Francisco, I felt this tugging in my heart, just wrestling in my heart about this whole vocation question. I asked for a sign. I got the sign.
Yeah.
And throughout that plane ride, I felt that my first spiritual father, Father Sonny Ramirez, the Dominican priest in the Philippines, was winking at me from heaven because he already passed away. So I really felt this connection that, wow, I think he's watching over me. He's praying over me. And maybe he is reminding me of my answer when I was super young. When I said that I do want to become a priest.
Yes. It's like I'm holding you to it then.
So that really kickstarted the entire vocation discernment much more seriously.
Nice.
Yep.
And so you, so then it was because Father John Marie goes on, obviously went from vocation director to novice master. So what was that process of it? Was it how to put it, straightforward for you to kind of give up the Google and the safety, I don't say security, but just, I mean, you clearly had that sense of wanting to succeed in life, so to speak, and kind of hit that. What was that process like for you to kind of enter into the Dominicans?
Yeah, so when I was in Google, I know I was working for Google, but I felt that I was working more for the Lord. So I knew that I was there at Google because the Lord sent me there for a mission, for a purpose. And so I'm getting fulfilled in my work at Google, not because of the work at Google directly, but because I know deep in my heart that it was the Lord who sent me there. And that there is a reason why I'm there. So when I had to finally leave, it was like, okay, like I'm on to my next thing because the Lord has something next for me. You know?
I see what you're saying. So there's a continuity in the sense of the why of what you're doing there. So it didn't feel like a break as much as a sense of like, okay, now the next thing I'm going to do for the Lord.
Exactly. It's more of just following the Lord wherever He is. And just doing my best for Him. So I'm serving Him. I'm working for Him. I am an employee of the Lord. Like that's how I see myself.
And, sometimes when someone will say something like, it'll be a difficult, either they're having a difficulty with a teaching of the church or something like that, and they'll ask me, and they're like, why does the church say that? And really I just want to kind of, I don't want to say shock them, but just say, it's just like, look, I'm in sales. I'm not I'm not the CEO of the church. You know? I'm not the Lord.
True.
That's when you might have to ask the Lord on.
Yes, that's so true.
I'm not an executive when it comes to the church. I'm just gonna tell you what the Lord has told the church. So it's kind of like an employee of the church. I like that. Was there a sense of, I've certainly had that a childhood experience of almost like a family priest who is a Dominican. You had the sign, John Marie coming. But did you know much about, like, I don't know, the history, St. Dominic himself? You know, it seemed like like you were
Dominicans.
just just in general, it seemed like it was
no.
No.
Short answer is no, not really. So the SCV brothers in Pan, they're more Ignatian. So my background really was more Ignatian in terms of actual spirituality. So when I attended my first ever Come and See, I was amazed by it. I was just in awe, especially by the contemplation and the love for liturgy, how we chant the divine office, the monastic traditions that we have. So these were all new to me. And while I was in the Come and See retreat, I just had the sense that there's something in here that I want to explore further. And during my prayer time there, as I was doing the divine office, I felt a level of depth in my prayer that I never really experienced before, that I thought was only possible because of the chanting, the monastic traditions. So it was new in some sense, but in another sense, it's just a deepening of the spirituality that I already had coming in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so.
Yeah, you can't do a year, you can't do a holy hour meditating on John 15 and not have experienced, if you will, the fruits of contemplation, or
That's
at least
right.
that calling and responding to that yearning that we have for the Lord's presence.
Yes, and another thing that was quite new to me is the intellectual tradition of the Dominicans, right?
Yeah.
Like I've been studious ever since I was young. Like I love to study,
Sure.
but I never really thought of studying God in a formal way.
Yeah.
Like I know of him as a person that that I'm in love with.
Yeah.
But not really someone that I can formally study. So that's also something that's new.
Yeah.
But because it's new, it's allowing me to explore a different side of the person that I have loved.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way to grow in my relationship with him.
Yeah, there is this dynamic between knowledge and love, right? And sometimes they're juxtaposed.
Yes.
They're just like, oh, is it better to know God or to love God? And there might be an order depending on what you're talking about. You can't know what you don't love, and at the same time, love is the fulfillment of knowledge in certain ways. But I just think of the scriptures going back to St. John, where Jesus actually defines eternal life. Do you remember when it says he goes?
Yeah, to love and know Jesus.
Yeah, so he says, this is eternal life, to know the one true God and Jesus Christ,
whom you have sent.
Who is sent.
Yeah.
So he defines it. The Lord defines it in terms of knowledge, which I take to mean, certainly there's obviously an intellectual aspect to it, but the word there also, like in the tradition, it talks about when Adam knows Eve, it means there's a sexual intimacy that's there, in which that knowledge is the total person giving each other to each other. So knowledge and love are in some ways two sides of the same coin, at least from both a Jewish, but I think in our Catholic tradition of, if you need both, both are necessary. And even though we talk about love as the fulfillment of everything, there has to be a sense of knowledge in its fullest sense of knowing, because you can't love what you don't know, kind of thing. And so I love how you're kind of like you're saying, hey, the idea of studying theology or making it more, I say, objective form of inquiry outside of science is something that's new, but that you're experiencing a joy in doing that, because it's in a sense opening up a horizon to love the person you love in a new way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like studying a family member.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It's like, how does that work?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's like studying your dad.
Yeah, no, that's
taking a course about your dad.
No, that is interesting.
So,
because people, no, I just love, like, that is an excellent analogy, because so many people these days are very much keen into studying like family legacy and things like to get a sense of where they are. So you do all this ancestry.com kind of stuff where you kind of try to, what's my lineage, where do I come from, what's my history, who are my people. Certainly for a sense of because they're interested and it's a curiosity, but also I think it shapes like a sense of identity too.
Yes.
So you're talking about knowing who you are as a beloved son of God.
Yes.
And so studying about God is that direct reflection of coming to a deeper sense of who you are.
Exactly.
In that light. So that's I love that.
Yeah. And the more I get to know who I am, the more I get to know how much God has blessed me.
Yeah.
Right? How much God has been providentially working in my life.
Yeah.
How he has connected all different parts of my life to bring me to this point where I am right now.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't be in California currently if it weren't for my job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the fact that I was at Google brought me to California.
Yeah.
And now that I'm in California,
every step was for a different reason, but it's all leading here.
Yes,
so maybe share with me. So you entered the novitiate.
Yes.
I remember your classes. have been sharing with some of your other classmates. It's got a brother from Canada, a brother from the Midwest, a brother from the Philippines. Like it's kind of a whole eclectic kind of group with different familiarity with different sides of Dominican life, so to speak.
Yes.
And here you all are. How has this novitiate year been for you? Maybe first of all, in terms of I don't say surprises, joys, things you didn't expect, things that you really, really, really loved about it.
Yes. So how's it been so far for me?
Yeah.
I really, really loved it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'm hoping you applied for vows, so I'm taking that you want to continue. I got that.
Yes.
But specifically, are there things that
specifically? I'm really enjoying the silence, like being more detached from the world, disconnected. Not having to answer emails or answer text
don't worry,
messages.
the day will come. Enjoy it while it lasts.
But the day is not yet here, so I'm still taking advantage of it. So just really having that silence in the heart, to grow in prayer.
Yeah,
I'm really, really enjoying that deepening sense of prayer. And in terms of surprises, so I think, first of all, among my brothers, like it's such an awesome class. Like I'm honestly surprised by how well we all get together.
Yeah,
and
I am too, honestly, because I was part of. I would say. Receiving the class in terms of like, we said, when someone applies, you're like, okay, this will be better. And they're like, you think, how is these two people going to interact? I've met them and did the interview and stuff. So but it's been a real joy to see you come together as a group for sure.
Yes. So it's been a joy just for us to go in our fraternal life, like being brothers to each other. So I'm the youngest in my family, but now I'm no longer the youngest, right? So I'm exploring that part of my identity, not being the youngest in the group. So, but a challenge there is I think I'm only one of two Asians.
Okay.
So culturally speaking, there's a little bit of a cultural shift that I also have to navigate. Yes. But it's a joy. It's a joy for me because I'm able to embrace the American culture more. So, for example, cooking turkey with you. This is such a highlight.
It was for me too.
That was very, very good experience.
And I love. So folks might not know this, but every Thanksgiving and Christmas when I cook for the community, I often will ask. I always ask amongst the novices, who has no idea what they're doing in the kitchen. and the novices tapped another brother, but you actually were, I think you were at the table, you volunteered, you're like, that's me.
Yes.
So I think it was the first person who ever volunteered, like usually.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, because usually people know, I would say they're just like, I don't really know much about it, so it's,
I see.
Not unwilling, but not going to volunteer. So not only did you volunteer, so I get to tell this story, not only did you volunteer, but then I have to say, not that you have favorites, but you're definitely in the top tier of me just saying, I think we do it this way, and all of a sudden, not only did you, because I'll show you this is how I break down the turkey. I'll you spatchcock, you kind of lay it flat so it cooks evenly. You prepare the the brine or the preparation of it, and then the next day when you carve it up, there's I think certain techniques of, I like to say, disarticulating to serve and so forth. And then you're like, what do we do with like the bones?
Yes.
The thing? And I'm like, I said, maybe when I started doing this, however long it's been, I've been doing it for at least 15 years. I would get, when I was really into it, I'd use the bones for stock and do, just kind of use every inch of the turkey.
Yeah.
But when you do it every year for 15 years, just like, that's okay. I don't need to make soup this year. Lo and behold, I come down the next day, and you've got the stock going. You inspired me to get that to go to make. The first time I made turkey pate with the gizzards and things like that.
That was good. It was. I enjoyed that.
Anyway, you fired me up to kind of to once again embrace as if the first time doing it. So not only was I kind of at least you were willing to let me give you a few tips in the kitchen. You inspired me to kind of do some new things myself. So that was great.
So before coming in the novitiate, this is one of my fears, like being asked to be cooked.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm not confident with it.
Oh.
Because I didn't really have much experience cooking.
Sure.
Before entering. So I made it actually a challenge for myself that, okay, once I'm in religious life, I want to grow in cooking.
Wow.
Like I want to be better at this. And hence I volunteered myself because I wanted to grow in that area.
Well, you not only embraced the challenge, you were A+. You got an A+. And then when we did the primary bit at Christmas and so forth and Easter, so to have all the rest. So you have a bright future ahead of you. Not that Dominicans, we don't necessarily always cook for ourselves, but especially I think it's an important. Many of our communities, almost every community I'm aware of, will. We around the major holidays and family days, right? Where we. It's part of that fraternity to be able to just do, I think, basic life things, though we're not every community everyone has that capacity, but to have some life skills that you can put together more than PBJ or something like that.
True. And I think I'm excited for formation in general because I think I'm going to grow in other areas, right? In terms of life skills and the things that I haven't experienced in the past. So I will continue to challenge myself. That's what I told myself.
And so once again, people might not know this, but there is within the novitiate a kind of people have different kind of bellman jobs or responsibilities.
Yes.
And at the first part of the year, they're just kind of all assigned because, Father John Marie doesn't necessarily know people's gifts. And, so he kind of just like assigns them. Yes. But then halfway through the year, in order to, or kind of at a certain point in the year, having taken constitutions and things like that, the novices get together and have an election.
That's
where
right.
they elect kind of their dean, their person who's, going to be kind of the point person to interact both with the novice master and with the senior community when there's novitiate, scheduling and things like going on. And lo and behold,
let
me say I was surprised. I didn't. It's interesting what comes out, but you were elected.
I was elected dean.
Yeah,
correct, indeed. Yeah. No, it's a privilege and honor to be elected dean.
Yeah.
I love my brothers, and I think this is one way to grow in love. With them, to be able to serve them in this capacity. Because I think it is a shift in terms of a mindset. So now as the dean, I need to be on the lookout always, like what are the upcoming things? What do I need to remind them about? So I think I'm much more alert and in tune towards the needs of my brothers. I think that's also helping me grow. And I think it's also a good experience for me in terms of the Dominican life in general. We are very much very fraternal. Yeah. So it's just one brother serving the other brothers. Yeah. Right? And I'm stepping into that into those shoes. So I'm very.
Were you surprised when you got elected, or did you have an inkling? Did guys say, "Oh yeah, we're going to elect you," kind of thing?
I think a part of me saw it coming.
Okay.
Just because I think my name was thrown around even before the election happened.
Okay, yeah.
If I had a preference, I would not want to be dean.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
But I think
you didn't vote for yourself.
Exactly.
Well, in fact, in Dominican
we cannot.
You cannot.
Exactly, we cannot.
And you know what I found out? I don't know if you know this. I was surprised. I was, in terms of elections for different positions, like in diocesan clergy,
right,
and even in other forms of religious life. I remember because being part of the dean, the secular clergy, being the dean of the region. When it came for voting, I joked. There was some vote that was coming up, and so it was, I forget what a secretary for the meeting or whatever it was. There was a certain, and so we did a vote, like a ballot vote, and I joked about, like, well, I'll be voting for myself here, thinking it was like joking, like, of course I'm voting for myself. First of all, I didn't necessarily want to do it, but that you can't. Well, everyone was like, I was told later on, they're like, oh, this guy's a real kind of an ambitious guy, because you can vote for yourself. And in fact, it's expected that you vote for yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah, like that's a sign of like I'm competent enough to do this kind of thing. And then I was like, oh, and so the way that I was just like, it was totally foreign to me. And then I had someone say, well, I mean, like elected officials, of course they vote for themselves. I mean,
True,
Republicans not voting for the Democrat person, like you're. And I thought, oh, that's just a different way of expressing it. So I thought that was interesting. Like I think most Dominicans, when we enter, we have a sense of the ministry and preach for others, but there's that, if you will, internal ministry. We have to one another to be in service of others, and there's a way in which we have to be. That obedience extends to each other.
Yes, that's true.
And if we're seeking it, we're probably not the right person to do it. I think that's the insight.
Yes. No, that is true. Yeah.
So good. So how has it been? So in terms of being dean, I don't know, put the word enjoy, but whatever verb you want to give for it. What have you learned? What have you learned about yourself a little bit being in charge?
So initially, I would say it was really a sacrifice. Yeah. Because before that, I could just be hidden almost.
Yeah.
And I like being hidden, just being silent.
Yes.
And I think my headspace kind of had to change a little bit, from being hidden to now being always alert and trying to be on the lookout on what are the things that are happening. So there's a shift in terms of the mindset. So
do you think your brothers elected you because they were looking to call that out from you?
That's a good question. Maybe. But
Okay.
I'm not sure to what extent.
I have no idea myself. I'd have to ask individual. But that's how I took it.
Okay, interesting.
No, because clearly you have lots of obviously you formed formed community in the past. You're someone who's and then in the novitiate, at least early on, there was you were there, present, always there.
Yes,
but just very comfortable, just kind of being in the back row, so to speak, like any good Catholic. You don't sit in the front row, very comfortable. But then being in the front row now, where you have to be,
perhaps
you've been. It's been wonderful. But I just wondered if that was sometimes your classmates kind of, I don't say know you better, but want to kind of give you a little nudge towards things that they see in you that maybe wouldn't be the most comfortable things, but things like cooking, for example. Although you're the one that volunteered for that one, or at least you put yourself out there.
No,
for
but so when we're doing the deliberation, so whoever's nominated will need to step out, right? So I wasn't there in the room.
Yeah, sure.
But when I was there for the other nominees,
perfect.
I could see how the Holy Spirit moves in these kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
And so when the brothers elected me, I really took that as, okay, it's the Lord
took that to heart.
Who wanted me to serve my brothers in this capacity.
Yeah.
And so if that means changing my mental framework, how I think about things, and need to get out of my my own space to serve the brothers, then I would do it, because it's what the Lord wants of me, and so I would gladly do it.
Tell me a little bit about your religious name.
Yes.
So Brother Pius.
Yes.
It's
two names.
Yeah, two names.
Pius Carlo.
Yeah.
And I would say actually that I didn't choose it because in a big sense, in a big way, it came to me in prayer, like these two names. So the first one, Pius, is actually for Padre Pio.
Okay.
Which some people found interesting, because first of all, like, I could have just taken the word Pio instead of Pius, because he exactly. But for some unknown reason, in prayer, Pius is the one that kept coming to me.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
And so I'm not sure why, but I do. Even now, it's still a mystery to me. There's still some sense of mystery to me. So it's still something that I am continuing to unpack.
Okay.
Like, why did the Lord, put this name in my heart, Pius Carlo?
What about Padre Pio inspires you or led you to kind of connect with him?
I mean, my goal for entering religious life really is to imitate our Lord as closely as I can, and to really embody Him to the people of God. And I thought, well, who could be a better model for that in recent history than Padre Pio, who bore the wounds of Christ, in his own body through the stigmata. And he is a very prayerful man, of course, with huge devotion to Our Lady as well. And so I took that as my model, because it is my goal to imitate Jesus as closely as I can. And I thought Padre Pio did that exactly, with the grace of God. And so I took his English name, which is Pius.
Yeah, okay.
so Pius is for Padre Pio. And then Carlo is for soon to be canonized, Carlo Acutis.
Yeah.
So it's mainly because of my love for technology.
Okay.
I really, really enjoy technology ever since I was young. I feel so passionate about it. Hence, working for Google is one of the best moments in my life, really. And before entering religious life, I always had this tension in my heart on what I can do about my love for technology. A part of me feels that, okay, if I love the Lord, maybe I should just give up this love for technology. And I think that is a temptation, you know? But eventually, I come to terms with it, and I realize that this love that I have for technology actually came from the Lord. Almost like a charism given by the Spirit in order to build up the kingdom of God. And so to counter this temptation in me to kind of put it aside for the Lord, I took the name Carlo as a bold statement to myself and to others as well, that this is something that I feel strongly called to. And I think my identity, even as a religious, would strongly involve technology in one way or another. And so to embrace that part of who I am, I took the name Carlo, because he's now the patron saint of the internet.
That's right. Or soon to be.
Yes, soon to be. So I think Pius Carlo really encapsulates what I would hope to live out in my religious life. To imitate Christ as closely as I can, while also using the gifts and charisms that the Lord has given me, especially my love for technology, to build up His kingdom.
And I think it has to be a charism because, or at least that makes sense to me, because technology certainly is good in of itself, but it often can come at the expense of, because it's so compelling and has a the release of dopamine and all the red, like physiologically is so engaging. There can be a real struggle between interacting with technology and the kind of silence that like this year that you really loved kind of thing. And so in order to have a natural sense of love of technology and love of silence is not they're two things that you wouldn't
you wouldn't think that they would go together.
Exactly. It seemed like a little bit of a oil and water, so to speak.
Right. But no, the more I pray about this, the more I'm understanding that I think for me at least, these two things are coming together in a quite unique way. And one example of this
give me an example.
is, so we don't have technology in the Novitiate year.
You're in the desert.
We don't have computer. We don't have smartphones.
But it doesn't sound like you're too
upset
about
I don't find it hard at all.
Really?
I find it. I love not having technology actually, because
it's funny that Google. I thought honestly when you're entering, I think, oh man, every class struggles in its own way, different people. But I would have put you in terms of Google guy as being like, oh boy, this is going to be tough. I mean, not in a bad way, but just being used to it and surrounded by it.
Right.
How easy is it going to be to detach?
I know, and that's why I say it's a gift, really, from the Lord.
That's what I mean. It's a care. That's what I say. It's got to be.
So the moment I entered the priory on August 13th of last year, I never really so I turned it off immediately when I entered. And even though we were technically still allowed to, use it and say our last goodbye, I just turned it off and just, went for it. And I only had to have it back whenever, Father John Murray asked us to do something. Our novice master. Yeah. But other than that, no, I don't feel called to picking it up. No. But in the few times that I would see people, for example, we're doing this ministry once a week in a high school. Yeah. So I was assigned to Reardon. So, and I see students using computer all the time. Sure. And the teachers using computer. And whenever I see them use technology to communicate the truths of our faith, for example, in religious studies, it just gives me a sense of delight and almost like a consolation. Okay, nice. That I couldn't really quite explain it. But I do feel this consolation in my heart about how technology is being used for the good of these people. So interestingly, I find myself loving technology more in this period of detachment, in this period of not having it. And so I'm looking forward to explore more how the Lord will use this in me. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I do too.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that very thing myself. Yeah. And maybe just in terms of a kind of a fun fact about you that maybe even someone who has met you or something wouldn't necessarily know. It could be anything about hobbies or recreations or foods or anything about you that's just kind of a fun fact about you.
Fact.
Or put it in that category.
Let me think about that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm having a hard time thinking of a fun fact.
It's a fun idea. You mentioned not being able to cook, but then jumping into it.
Yes, so I suppose that
there's something that.
Yeah, because I think so. In the past, I do enjoy, for example, getting boba and all of that, like going to restaurants.
Sure.
Eating Japanese food. I love that. But maybe
is that your favorite cuisine, Japanese?
Maybe, yeah. I would think so. Yeah,
because you have as you explained at the beginning, such a diverse cultural background.
I have Chinese background, but my siblings are Japanese.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you're from the Philippines.
Yeah, from the Philippines.
so in food, maybe
food-wise, I think
needle
Japanese,
goes a little Japanese. Okay.
Yes,
really?
Yes.
Okay.
So I really love Japanese food. So maybe part of the reason why I'm having a hard time saying my fun fact is, in the novitiate, there's a lot of things that were taken out, right? And so things that would usually be a source of joy for me and would be fun, it may not be as accessible at the moment.
I see what you're saying.
For example, even grabbing boba right now, I think I've only had one boba in the last for
really?
the past
Last year? Oh
really.
my gosh, okay. And that was a staple.
That was a staple.
You were a boba guy.
Yeah. So, no, but
what's with boba? Let me just say this. They're little slimy balls.
Exactly. So you chew it.
No, oh my god. What's
it's a little sweet.
Oh man, I know.
It adds texture to your drink.
Oh no, it's not. It's like tapioca or something.
It is tapioca.
It's tapioca.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
no, I'm. Yeah. No.
I think it's one way to make just a sweet drink into more like a dessert.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So I think boba is like a dessert.
No, it's good. I mean, I'm glad if you like it. I never got the appeal of the boba.
I see. You're not the only one. I've met other people who doesn't quite like it. But
and I honestly think it's not so much. I mean, the taste is but it's the texture. It's because it's kind of a well, for me, I'll use a slimy. It feels like kind of. It's just like I don't know.
So in the Philippines, we have quite a bit of desserts that are like
that texture. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're used to that.
And so I'm used to that, and I do enjoy it very much.
Well, you're not alone because there's a boba place all over the place.
There is.
It kind of hit the world or hit this area of the region by fire. It's everywhere.
But here in the novitiate, in novitiate, religious life in general, I think I'm starting to explore other source of fun and enjoyment.
Oh, okay.
That I didn't.
Well, give me an example. Give me an example.
So, for example, playing pickleball with my brothers.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Like that is a source of fun for me and enjoyment. And even casual conversations that can become contemplative suddenly.
Yeah.
I think these things give more joy to me now than grabbing boba.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I think entering the religious life is an opportunity for me to redefine, I suppose, like the things that I used to know about myself.
Yeah.
How would these things look like?
Yeah.
Right. In religious life. So I don't have all the answers. It's something that I'm still trying to explore.
Yeah.
But I'm open to it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of like to use going back to the food analogy. It's like when you're young, you like things that are sweet, and then as the palate kind of becomes more refined, you can appreciate, even bitter things or things that have a contrast to that, or like umami flavors and things like that.
Another example of that is before entering, I would eat rice every single day.
Oh, okay.
White rice every single day.
Okay.
I mean, a big reason for that is just my upbringing. Like
in
the Philippines, we eat rice 3 times a day, right?
It's not a meal if there's no rice. It's
exactly.
a snack. No rice, it's just a snack.
Exactly. So all of my friends before entering, they know me that, there's a guy who will need to get white rice.
Yes. Yeah.
But upon entering, like that's something that I am very much something that I gave up, for the Lord. Like I eat whatever is
served,
available.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I find that a joy for me because I'm starting to explore another part of who I am that I never really explored in the past.
Yeah.
So now I'm eating cereals regularly, which I never really did in the past.
Yeah. Well, I just remember that one dinner when you taught me the difference between white and brown. I just thought it's just a different color, so it's like almost like a different, but it's a whole different thing.
It's a whole different thing.
Like white rice and brown are like 2 different kinds of things. They're not just like I mean, they're both rice, but they're not both rice in the same way. I just never knew that.
Exactly.
I'm not a big rice guy, but it's just funny that you were telling me about the white rice and the brown rice. I'm like, once just didn't clean it enough or something. No, I know it's just different flavor. But
one thing that you still need to try is the banana ketchup that I told you about.
So this is a chance. So for those just to clue you in, where this is now a personal. Now we're delving into a personal story. I am not a banana fan. There's deep psychological and personal reasons along the taste for not liking bananas. But you said there's a ketchup that's made in the Philippines.
Yes,
that
made out
is
of bananas.
Made out of bananas. So I've yet to try. We're going to somehow get our hands on it. And I'm gonna. I don't think I've ever had anything either banana flavored or anything that includes, but even fried bananas. I mean, they say you can fry, shoe leather and it'll taste good, but it's just even fried bananas are not little plantain chips are like, no, I'm out. You can make them sweet, so it doesn't matter. I'm just not a keen. So we're gonna try the ketchup though.
I'm curious how you would take it.
I am curious. We'll have to get back to this. We'll have to put a pin in this one and come back and report. And we're gonna get ourselves some banana. I'd never heard of that banana ketchup.
Yes.
We looked it up and it exists. It's out there. I know
it's popular in the Philippines.
Popular.
Yes.
I don't. Is it? I'm sure you could buy it in the States somewhere. I don't see it around.
Pretty sure you can. Yeah, in some Asian store.
There we go. So that's what we're gonna do. We'll celebrate your vows with a
banana ketchup.
All right. Yes. Brother Pius Carlo, it was delightful to have you the show. Thanks for spending some time with us, and for all those who are listening, certainly you can attend the vows, which are on the 30th of August.
Yes.
10:30. All of them are open, and hopefully this conversation has brought you just a little bit closer to the Lord, whom we all love, as you radiate the joy of the gospel here in the heart of the city. Amen?
Amen.
I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. Please like, subscribe, comment, interact with us. Together here at St. Dominic's, we want to continue to radiate the joy of the gospel in the heart of the city. Shine with the Lord's love. Amen. Amen.